one of the interesting things is that I now think much more collaboratively, in that I send stuff to people on the internet, I post up odd ideas, I start pulling together things from all sorts of different sources much more quickly, and so it's kind of changed the way that I and most of my colleagues do research, in that we're already collaborating and sharing as we come up with ideas and as we develop things, rather than just using it as a dissemination mechanism towards the end. In terms of the way that the field goes, because my research is about, to the extent the internet's about technology in general and how it impacts people, the changes that have happened in the web are the sorts of things that I'm actually studying. So it's one of the things that has clearly made a major difference. The rise of things like social networking is something that I've looked at in both the technologies that are used, and probably more interestingly in the way that it's impacted people's lives and the sorts of things that they get up to now.
I mean, you talked there about the use of social media. Do you think that's been the biggest impact or the biggest shift in how we interact with machines and each other in the past few years?
I would say it's a symptom of it. I think the key thing is that when computers kind of first became reasonably common in the home, people who liked computers were seen as very geeky, as very stuck away in a room, as loners, as isolationists. The reality now is that if you don't have a mobile phone, if you're not on a social network, if you haven't got a blog, if you're not contributing to internet forum, then you're the loner, and so on. So things have switched around absolutely completely, and social networks have been part of that. But in general, there's a whole rise of email, the whole the ubiquity of the web, the ubiquity of smartphones has meant that they've become such an acceptable technology that it's that's changed society.
And what emerging technologies do you think will go on to have like a really big impact on our day-to-day lives?
If I knew that for certain, then all my money would be invested in particular companies. But I think, in some ways, lots of these things aren't new. People have always wanted to communicate with each other. People have always had groups that they want to send stuff to. People have always had friends. They've always loved, laughed, done all those sorts of things. And really the technology is just supporting those fundamental needs. What it's doing now is it's starting to support them in a more natural way, in a much more effective way, and so on. And yeah, on Facebook, you could have 10 million friends. That's entirely possible. The technology will support that. But people don't tend to have 10 million friends. People tend to have between 70 and 150 friends, because that's the sort of size of friendship network that we can cope with and we manage and we understand. So the fundamentals in terms of people, their psychology, the way they think, the way they act, their desires, all those are exactly the same. The key things that are going to make the difference are the companies and the systems that are aware of that and build appropriate technologies and infrastructures to support those sorts of things. So Google would be a good example, in that people want to search for stuff and they want search to be simple, and that's what Google offer. Facebook is another example. People want to communicate with friends in a simple way, and yeah, you can send out a group email, but you can't. Not everyone can see what everyone else thinks, and it's just an obvious approach to solving a problem. It's just been done very, very effectively, and it's been phenomenally successful because of that.